don't have it set up right. I get confused.
All right, we are live on air. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 88, TAT Chat of the TAT Chat, which is an
Oh,
incredible thing to say on its own.
that's me. Hold on.
Bit of tech issue there. Let's start again. Welcome to TAT Chat number 88 with Nick and Zaheer. I'm Zaheer. There's Nick. So
Oh, sorry, sorted it.
have you sorted it yet?
Yeah.
So yeah, welcome everyone. So thanks for everyone popping in and joining us. Say a few quick hellos. We've got 37 people in already. Nick, do you want to say hi first of all before we jump into the old chat?
Yeah, hi, how you doing? I made the old schoolboy error. It's weird when it's on your channel, I get so confused because everything's slightly different, and I have a system that
You
goes
have
out.
a system on how to get it going, and then
So I didn't pause it. But yeah, I'm good. Yeah, lots of people chatting and popping in.
yeah, doing it yourself lifestyle was in first. Ryan, so hi there. Simon Mitchell, Chelsea, Shane, Lucy T, Peter Ray's joined us as well. All right, Panzer 1511, Callum Tucker, Southwest Sellers, the one, the only bomb crack picker. Yeah, Niall Gulliver, Becks in the chat as well. Adam Kelsey as well. Lots of people join us. Anne Hamilton. Gosh, electronic firing squad. Andrew Cowley.
So,
Julie Hall. Yeah, it's easy for me to say. Vinyl Nuts, and everyone else. Welcome to episode 88 of the TAT Chat. We haven't got a guest this week. The idea was meant to be that obviously we alternate the TAT Chat show now. So every Tuesday, this week it's on my channel, next week it'll be on Nick's channel, and then Nick, you are meant to be kind of organizing a separate chat on a Thursday.
yeah,
and
that kind of went out the window when we had like holidays and festivals and things going on. But we do have a Thursday guest lined up.
Sweet.
So yeah, that's the plan. Won't give it away yet. I'm just going to say, while I see Peter Ray in the side chat there, I was watching his videos the other day. He's got a new channel, and also he has bought. I had a stack of random PS1 games that were just going to be bundled because they were nothing exciting really. And yeah, he bought 5 of those. So Peter, this will be on its way to you tomorrow. So thanks for that. Really appreciate it. I was going to say, if ever anyone does see stuff in my haul videos, probably the same as Zaheer, and you are interested, just message, because we can do it through PayPal, and it works really well. So thanks for that, Peter.
Definitely. Doing some listing and listening to the gurus.
There's no gurus here.
Yeah, I mean, it's that's always something that gets commented on. You know, that obviously, like, because we make videos, people that make videos are just extroverts. That's how you should look at it. That's all they are. The people who make YouTube videos are extras. Think about it. What's the logic behind deciding one day to sit down in front of a camera, in front of a webcam, and putting yourself out there on the internet for all to see, for all to comment? You only do it if some part of you has like that extrovert like little tendency. That doesn't make you a guru. It doesn't make you knowledgeable on what you're talking about. Nick said this many times, and I'm going to reiterate it. There are probably millions, maybe, God knows, of resellers out there who are infinitely better in every which way. I mean, there's probably so many people out there that are better at me at sourcing, packaging, listing, everything, literally every part of the business, and they probably don't make videos because they're too busy, or they just don't have that need. And there are people that do make videos who are blatantly much more ahead and much better at this than us. So hopefully, if you're watching us because you enjoy the journey, you enjoy just us sharing what we're doing, whether that's good, bad, right, wrong, is almost irrelevant. We're doing what we do and we share it.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. We just made that decision to share what we do. We've never claimed to be right or the best or whatever. We just, yeah, jumped on YouTube for the sake of it, and we're still here.
Exactly.
Still doing it.
Exactly.
So what was the kind of thought behind the theme for tonight then? There's a TAT chat post, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, Simon Mitchell's just mentioned it. Who here has taken up Becks' challenge of 70 items listed this week on the Facebook TAT chat group? Just a couple of days ago, I think it was on Monday, actually, yesterday, a couple of days ago, yesterday, Beck posted up on the Facebook group, our TAT chat Facebook group. There's a link in the description below. And she posted up a little thread about, you know, like a listing challenge. Is nothing new, but it's just something that's really good for motivation, because she was struggling a little bit to get into the zone, and obviously, like, I am not the best lister out there, and it's really picked up a lot of steam. A lot of people on the group are joining in and challenging themselves to the to the thread. And what's cool about it is it keeps you honest, because you know that you're going to want to post at the end of the day what you've done. And like, Beck's aiming to hit 10 listings a day, as am I. So that would be 70 listings a week. Yesterday I was really proud because I managed to put on 11 listings, which was fantastic. And Beck shared what she did as well. I think she did her 10. And there's people there doing way better. I think Philippa or someone had done like 24 or something. No, I think Yola, actually, who's reseller mom on Instagram, just mentioned she's just done 24 today, and she's done some drafts, so she's calling it a day. And so you do your listings, and because you know you're going to be sharing what you've done, and no one wants to go into the thread and say, yeah, I've not done anything today, or, you know, so it keeps you honest, which is quite nice. Nick, are you going to be joining in?
I haven't yet. As I shared in a recent video, I'm plowing through this backlog of electronics. So I have listed some, but it's very slow going because most of the time spent is testing and cleaning and sorting. So I'm not actually listing much, but I listed, I don't know, 5 or 6 bits yesterday, I think it was. And do you remember I picked up a massive Sony Betamax? Like,
yes,
I packed
for £3 or something.
Sorry?
For £3 or something silly, wasn't it?
Pounds, yeah, and it was like a double unit thing. It was a weird thing, and it weighed a fraction under 10 kilos because I sent it out today because I listed it. It didn't even power up. It was completely knackered, didn't work. So I sold it as spares or repairs. Didn't know where to price it, so I went 25 quid with £10 shipping, and it sold within hours. So I'm like, ooh, did I undersell? But even working, I've seen them sell for between 35 and 50. So I'm thinking I did pretty well. But they have sold also at £100 and beyond. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you can't beat yourself up over the old whether it's, you know, whether it could have gone for more. You might have just priced it perfectly for that.
Because it weighed a ton. It didn't work. And it was not in a very good condition anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, happy with that. But no, I haven't joined in that challenge because at the moment I'm not listing a lot, and my numbers would be like 3, 5, none. Today I've done none so far. Oh, you've got that, isn't it?
Andrea has also joined in as well. So, you know, she's doing, I think she's aiming for 50. I think, I can't remember properly. Stephen Moore says, is the guest in the box in the back? No, it's not.
Did you see that super chat?
Oh, wow. Oh, we had a super chat.
Doing that
oh, Etiquette 85, thanks up for the helicopter. Oh, thank you, buddy. I really appreciate that. I'm more than happy to help when I can, and I really do appreciate the super chat. But obviously, like we always say, we just happy to share. So thank you very much. That's amazing. Yeah, Etiquette 85 posted in the group. He picked up an amazing Nitro helicopter. It's like a more vintage model. And he paid 40 quid, and I think he got like a bunch of spares and everything as well. And I think there's been a couple sell for, you know, really good money. I think you could probably achieve around 200 odd pounds, something like that, for it. So it was a great pickup. Okay. Yeah, it was a nice vintage Nitro helicopter. So
with something like that, if I picked one up, I've never flown one, and I really probably wouldn't want to.
You wouldn't want to. No.
Let's say I picked one up, a Nitro helicopter, whatever, I know nothing about it. Would you suggest I just list it as is, as untested? This is what it is.
Completely. I mean,
Only
there's
try,
a
'cause
couple of things you can do, even because you wouldn't want to fly it, obviously.
no.
If it comes with the transmitter, like the hand controller,
Yeah.
you can always plug it in if it's got the battery and move it around. You'll be able to see the swash plate, which is the bit where the blades attach onto, moving up and down and angling. Like there's, I think there's aileron, elevator, and oh god, I can't remember the third thing. But there's like 3 cyclic servos, so it basically goes up on the left, right, and then behind it. So it's like a little triangle. I'm not explaining it very well, but anyway.
You know what you mean? Yeah, the controls.
Yeah. So you can just see whether it works in that sense.
Yeah.
If it's a nitro engine, what you can do is you can give a little yank to the pull starter. I happen to have a nitro engine here. So this is a nitro car, and so there's a pull starter there. Now, what you can do is if you just pull on it, you can tell that the engine's got compression. There are no leaks. You know, it's not stuck. That, you know, because sometimes if the engine's flooded, but even if it is stuck, you could probably use that as a bargaining tool. Say, oh look, that's stuck. It's very simple to fix that. You just literally unscrew the glow plug, but you wouldn't need to do that. The cool thing about RC stuff is you can sell it broken, and you can sell it as is. There's insatiable demand on eBay for it. People are buying RC all the time. And
the thing is, I was just going to say, it's a hobby where if you're into it, you're going to break your own stuff anyway. So you have to be able to repair, as you said in the past.
Correct. Yeah.
So like you say, it's not going to matter to a real enthusiast, even if it's sold as for spares or repair, because they'll be like, well, fine.
People, yeah, I mean, people enjoy the fixing part. It's a big, huge part of the hobby. So selling it as broken is not an issue whatsoever. I'm actually planning on making a video about what to look out for when it comes to RC, so you can pick out hobby grade stuff. So you know, it's quite easy to spot, and you don't need to know anything about it in terms of it. You just need to be able to pick out a couple of things, like a couple of pointers. For example, I mentioned to Etiquette about his helicopter. He said you can mention the brand of the servos, for example, which are the bits that move things around. You can mention the brand of the gyro and things like that, and that alone will attract the buyers. This
goes back to that Sony I sold, because there is quite a big market for people who just enjoy playing with vintage stuff and trying to make it work. I would imagine that Sony Betamax machine might have just gone to an enthusiast who's like, this is my challenge for this month, I'm going to make that work. Or they're just going to repair it and try and sell it on, or harvest the parts or whatever. But yeah, I've sold so much faulty gear over the years. And
exactly, people are all into that kind of stuff.
Just noticed the Hillsman saying, I heard from a few people that Nick pole danced on a live stream. That never happened.
Wow. Yeah, that's quite a...
I think it was suggested, but I refused.
Oh, it was refused, so that's fine. Peter A says, Z, how's the hair thing going? How much you raised? I think we're still on around £725, which is epic. So the hair thing is still going ahead to brave the shave. I'm going to be shaving it all off on the 6th of October. So thank you everybody that has
it's coming around quick, isn't it? Because we're now, what are we now?
It is mid-September now. Yeah,
mid-September. Under a month to go. Wow.
Oh gosh. Darren said, I was close to buying that Betamax off Nick myself and fixing it up when I saw it. Nice little project that. And there you go. That's exactly what you were actually talking about.
There you go. Yeah, because I wouldn't dream of touching it. It's so far from my comfort zone. But if someone else is out there, and a £3 into 25 with £10 shipping isn't a bad flip.
Not at all. Not at all.
Working. Hang on, my phone's doing things in my pocket.
Okay.
Oh, it's my sister. Okay, cool. So yeah, what were we going to talk about?
Well, the topic was, so with the listing, I just thought it'd be interesting because everyone's getting really into the thread on the group about, you know, listing challenge, but I wanted to talk about how it never seems to get easier to list, and about making yourself do the necessary every day. And the reason why I say this is yesterday I had a really productive day where I listed. I will get my 10 done today. I know that. However, I've not listed a single thing so far today. And I can tell you where my day went. My hands are oily and greasy because I've been messing with those cars I showed you. I've been fixing those up. But luckily, I did actually set out my 10 items. But I still need to find the time in this 24-hour period to photograph, edit, and then list some items, which I showed you. I mean, you
haven't photographed that 10.
I've not photographed them either, no. So you see that pile of boxes there, guys. That's it's so easy. That should be, in theory, I don't know, like an hour's work, if that. I mean, peel off the stickers, photograph it, listing it maybe another hour tops. You're talking a max of 2 hours work there.
But they're also similar as well. You've got a batch that you could just go in and then click.
Just change the models. Yeah, correct. So the question is, why is it so difficult? What is the problem?
Well, we had a chat, didn't we, yesterday about this? And it's odd because, like you, I can have a really productive day and do a whole load, and then overnight, while I was asleep, I forget how easy it is to actually list, and how it's not rocket science. Once you get into it, it's actually quite enjoyable. But overnight, it always seems like I forget that, and then I procrastinate and find other things to do. So I find that actually the hardest bit is doing number one. So we actually said to each other, if we set ourselves a challenge to list one thing, once you've done that one, you're like, oh, that was easy, I'll just do another. And once you get into that rhythm, it's okay. So it's starting. As with most things with me, it's actually starting that's difficult. It's not doing it.
I think what you said there is so true, because when you do get into the groove and you're knocking the listings out, you do sit there and think, this is so easy. I'm going to do this every day. I could.
Bars every time you list. It's like,
there's another one. Yeah, there's another item listed. You know, exactly like you said. Oh, this is an easy one. Similar. Change the MPN or change the photos, and that's it. You know, change the title and whatever, and job's done. And you sit there and you feel really good. Like yesterday, I felt really proud of myself for getting the listings done that I said I'd do, and I sat there and thought, that didn't take me much time at all, and I can still chill out. And I got these items ready this morning, you know, thinking I'm gonna have a super productive day. Obviously, Beck goes off to work, and suddenly I'm like a kid or something, you know, like, oh, Beck's gone to work, I'm gonna get the RC cars out and start playing. Now, I'm not saying you guys out there do this, but I'm sure there are people out there that do the same thing, but with whatever their vices may be, whether that be pulling out the games console for a cheeky game that turns into an all-day gaming session. And you'll still get the work done. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'll get this work done, but point is, I should have gotten it done within an hour or two this morning, and I would have been free for the rest of the day, feeling great. But I've now got this to look forward to, which won't take long because, like I said, it won't take long.
What we'll have to do after this, because I'm going to try and list, I've got a pile of electronics, I've got some amps and some other stuff. So after this, we'll have to message each other or go live and just share how we're getting on.
I think so.
Force each other to do it.
Exactly.
I just wanted to share a little something that has actually made listing that little bit easier for me. When I'm doing my research, like with these, for example, I'm looking up this Hitachi vintage amp.
Oh, lovely.
While I'm doing, also, it means you don't have to repeat the steps. So I just searched the number of this, the model number, found a listing. Well, I found a few, worked out how much I'm going to list it for. While I've got all that in my head and I'm at a listing that's got a decent title that I like the look of, it's in the right category, all of those things, go into that listing, click the sell similar. If you want to do there and then, while you've got in your head, I'm going to list it for 30 quid, whatever it is, put that in, do whatever other little tweaks you wanted to do, and then click save draft. And it just makes all I've then got to do really is take the pictures, go back, and it feels mentally, it feels like I've already listed it, because I don't have to look it up. I don't have to write a title. I don't have to think about the price. It's all done, and I don't have to repeat that. And then it's just a case of, like I say, slotting in the pictures and then having a look through the listing, double checking everything, and it's done. And that has actually sped things up. It's only a tiny little tweak, but it really helps. I don't know if you do that at all.
That is actually a good idea. I mean, I'm I don't often use self similar. I should do, but I often don't, because I just feel like I want to make sure that I'm doing it right. Maybe they put it in the wrong category or whatever, or you know.
You check that at the time, you see.
Yeah, you can. You're right.
When you're doing your research, and also at that point you can see some sold for more, and you can go and you can sometimes work out why.
Get the
And
price.
while that's fresh in your head, you're like, well, I'll sell similar, and I'll use that title with the keywords in that it looks like helped. And it's all there and it's all done. It's all kind of captured by eBay because you're doing sell similar, and then you can come back to it with your photos
and then just finish it off. See, that's the thing. It's so easy, like you said. Yeah, you know, every day you have to start yourself up again. And but one thing I will say is that's where I think the thread became really helpful, because I mean, Beck started it because she was finding that she was getting really frustrated with herself, because she would also find things to do. The thing with Rebecca, though, is she'll find useful things to do instead of lists. So she'll be doing things like, you know, the cooking or the cleaning, or she'll be doing like sorting the kids out with things they need, or the tidying up generally, whatever, you know, all the things that bother her, she'll get done, but she'll somehow give those things priority over the listing. And then she sat at the end of the day knackered, thinking, now I've got a list. So I think the thread helped her, and I think it helped a lot of people in that way, because a lot of people were chiming in and saying, yeah, I too get distracted by this, that, or the other. I mean, it almost doesn't matter what it is that distracts you. I think it's nice to know that you're not the only one being distracted, because it's that that old nutshell of working from home, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's not easy, even when, I mean, I've been doing it a lot longer than you, for example, but I've said to you openly, I battle with that. It's like, it's the double-edged sword of working from home, so you're free to do what you want, which is fantastic. Oh, living the dream. But it doesn't actually make having a fixed working schedule easy. It really doesn't. And then, like today, I'm at the moment trying to set up my Royal Mail account with click and drop, so I get the benefits of my online and business account bulk discounts, but with the added click and drop benefits of being able to integrate with eBay, so I can pull all the addresses out, print off a 6x4 label with tracking on it, and the tracking doesn't cost me anymore. It's like perfect solution. And then like rang them up, had a few chats with the different people. Oh yeah, just do this, 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 and this. And it's all fallen apart at the first hurdle, because I set up my online business account, I don't know, 10 years ago. And the email it's on is defunct. It's long, long gone. But I have to set up my click and drop with the same email. So I did. And then they said, yeah, it's all set up. Go into your email and get this passcode to confirm it all. I'm like, well, I can't, because that email address is long gone. It's long defunct. So I'm now in like I've had to email a help desk, and there's going to be like a 48-hour return on that. And so, yeah, I fell at the first hurdle. So that took up most of my morning, just faffing around on the phone, trying to get into an email account that's like 15 years old and doesn't exist.
Frustration, that is. Just to shout out, Caroline is in the chat as well. Miss M, she seems like she's smashing her listings out. I think she mentioned she's having an average sales day of £170. That is fantastic.
Wow.
But Kaz is a perfect example of someone that can get stuff done. Yeah. Like she's so much more organized. It's like
it comes down to personalities, and she's obviously very good at managing her time. And we've said so many times until we're blue in the face, we're just not, we're kind of scatterbrained sort of characters, and we're just like, oh, squirrels, and we're like that. But yeah, although surprisingly, sales-wise, we had a couple of bad days, and then yesterday we had a 250 odd pound day. Today's been really good as well.
Nice.
And then Andrea said to me earlier, Nick, we've only got 50 items listed, because we came back from holiday, relisted everything. It all finished like last night or whatever. And that's why we had a sales spike, because everything was coming to the end and getting promoted on eBay. So now we've got literally like 50 items in our entire store, because like 400 and odd ended. But we had a really good sales day. So yeah, I spent a lot of time packaging as well. So those are all my excuses as to why I've
everyone has excuses, don't they? I mean, I'm just going into the chat actually, because people are talking about this as well. Right. Treasure Pirate Heather says, I do huge amounts of photography, drafting, then listing in big lots. Can't just do a few, but then don't do any for a few days. Yeah, I mean that's another way of doing things, I suppose. If you just bulk it out, you could probably do a massive amount of work in a day or two, couldn't you? And then
Yeah,
and then you could, I suppose, you could make listings become active during, say, if you've racked up a bunch of listings, you could just dribble them onto eBay, making them active, so you're getting activity, but you've done all the work in the beginning.
Well, my plan with this was to do all of the testing in one big batch, then do all the photography, then do all the listing. But I found it overwhelming, as I said last time we chatted. So I'm actually breaking it down into chunks now.
Yeah,
testing a chunk,
see,
photographing it, and listing it.
Electronic Firing Squad says the same thing. Grab 50 items, break them into groups of 10, photograph all 10, sit and list, repeat. Soon enough, you'll easily be at 10 an hour. See, it sounds easy enough.
It depends what you're listing. I agree with him. With media, I can bash through 50 in a day if I really go for it. But that's media, where it's like just one quick picture. The listing is go in, sell similar, change virtually nothing, and done.
Yeah.
And you can do those, but stuff you've got to really think about and test, and I don't know. There's more thought process in certain items.
And Isaac says, I find it's the starting that's difficult. Once you started, you're away. It's a bit like writing an essay or a difficult letter or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And then people are talking about number 2s and number 1s, so I'm going to stay away from that. I'm not sure.
I saw Darren's comment. He says that he was testing consoles and it just turned into a lot of gaming. I actually watched his video earlier where he was testing a vintage Master System, playing Xenon 2. Oh, I love that game. It's so cool. But yeah, I've got a load of consoles to test. I've got Wii's there, and I find it really hard to start a game of Wii bowling. I usually use Wii bowling just to test the controllers and test it all works. I can't just have one go. I have to have a whole game. No, I mean,
yeah, you have to get, and then you have to make sure you get 10 pins in every round.
Or I just say, I'm just going to keep going until I've got a strike. I'm just going to keep going until I've got 2 strikes.
Oh gosh, I love Wii bowling as well. It's quite fun.
It's a classic.
Simon Mitchell actually said, I photoed about 30 items and feel overwhelmed. I think the secret is to break it into smaller piles. Yeah. So I mean, definitely, I think that all makes a lot of sense. But I mean, for example, I did break my listing into piles. It's a very neat pile. The problem is, after I did that, I got distracted, and the pile is just sat there neat and compact as it was this morning. So it's a different issue.
You've got that vitally important step in the whole thing of actually listing the pile. Is it?
Yes, I just know.
Right. Yeah, selected them, stacked them up neatly.
I'm getting there, aren't I? It's only taken me 3 years so far. I mean, I'm sure it can't be much longer.
After we're done here, we'll keep each other on track.
I'm a slow learner, Nick.
I'll get these. I'm here 15 years in. Still
well, you're special then.
Super special.
Gosh.
Andrea says I'm special, not in a good way.
Adam says, at Rebecca, you need a Z-cam with a loudspeaker connection. Well, like some kind of a camp. That would be horrible. Yeah, like a little megaphone mounted in the corner. Just no, that wouldn't be cool. That would not be cool. Steve says, Z, I have never done a whole wrestling card while listing wrestling figures. What? I don't know what he meant by that. I've never done a whole wrestling card.
It might be a typo. I don't understand that. I just saw that Caroline said Carla did 70 drafts today. 70.
Wow. See, that's like our week's target.
Yeah. I mean, it's only drafted, but I guess all you got to do is slot the pictures in. But that can be a long-winded part of the process. But then Carla was saying to us, she only bothers with one picture.
So it might be all done. That might be 70 all done. But that's just it. The level that you put yourself on will determine, I suppose, the success you have out of it. So I suppose part of it will come down to how much how much you need, to get back. So obviously if you need to make sure you're getting a certain amount of sales, or then because of the items you're selling, then that's always something that you have to bear in mind.
Definitely. I mean, necessity, as they say, is the mother of invention. It's also necessity breeds motivation, because if you have to earn X by the end of the month, that should motivate you to list what you need to, whatever your situation is. So yeah, everybody.
I think people like me just end up doing just enough to get by.
Yeah,
just enough.
Yeah, we are definitely in that category these days.
Yeah, it's a bad way to be. Etiquette85 says, at the moment, sitting at the table and listing 200 console games, and it feels it will never end. That would be crazy.
But again, if you've got like a stack of Super Nintendo or whatever, once you've written one and you've got a template, you don't really have to change anything. The postage will remain the same. Most of the description will remain the same. Half the title will be the same. You've just got to, what I tend to do at that point is research first. So I've got all the prices written in front of me, and then I just go through. When I listed all those Atari games from that mega haul, I think that was only a day, and I'd done like 40 or 50, however many that was. But it's because they were that similar that I didn't have to change much.
Well, yeah, when it's that easy, then yeah, it does make it. Peter Ray says, life gets in the way sometimes. We list when we can. I work out what I'm selling, i.e. bundles, etc. Then I take loads of photos and put them on the PC. So when I've got time, I list, so it's easier than write price down. I've got to say, I think the big stopping point for a lot of people, including I think Beck and myself as well, is getting the items photographed and cropped nicely, ready to list. Once the photos are there on the PC, I feel a lot more relaxed and chilled out, because I know then I can just list as I go. I can just pop on, list a few items. It's all there. It's ready. Like the prep work is done. I think getting the photos taken and edited, by edited I just mean cropped and brightened as necessary.
Well, I was going to say, I get the same feeling if I do it the other way around, where I've got the draft lined up through going in and finding the item and the listing, and then clicking sell similar, tweaking a couple of bits, and I almost feel like it's listed at that point. So that works. But I also do it the other way around, where I usually do photographs first, and then like you're like, well, they're kind of in the bag, just got to do the other bit. So it doesn't matter which way around. And for a while I tried writing a draft and then going onto my phone and just using my phone to take the picture and drop it straight into the listing on the app. That worked really well. I don't know why I stopped doing it that way though.
Can I ask you a question actually? When you list on your phone, does the iPhone eBay app allow you to choose your postage policies? I
don't know, because I don't have them.
You don't use postage policies?
No, I just know how much I'm going to charge and I stick it in.
And that's it. Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah. I remember we had this conversation, and last time I think I said I need to set those up, and I just
business policies are brilliant, because then it is all set up for you. Like, what you need to charge, but then you have it set up so you could have your default postage policy. For example, if you know that 90% of your items are shipped out, like as a parcel, 2 kilo parcel, and you know that Hermes charge £2 or whatever it is, or £3, whatever, you can actually have that as your default postage policy, and it's ready to go. But what I find frustrating is it's a brilliant option, because not only can you have a postage policy, you've got like a payment policy and a returns policy. Obviously the payment and returns tends to just be PayPal and whatever your returns is, but the postage policy is nice, because then I've got them for different weight classes, because obviously I do sell really heavy items as well. So I like knowing that, okay, if I've got like a between 2 and 5 kilo item, I just choose that policy that I've created, and it's all set up, which I think is quite good. But the downside is, like I said, on Android, on the eBay app, it doesn't actually allow you to use policies, which means when you list on the phone, it just creates these extra unnecessary policies, and it becomes all messy when you go to organize it on the desktop, which is frustrating.
I don't know, but yeah, I do need to just, that'll be one of those things where I'll go in and I'll set them up and I'll be like, why didn't I do this years ago? You know what I mean? It's just for years I have in my, if I need to, I'll weigh the item and I automatically know what I'll put in. I just you do the drop down menu and I'll go Hermes $7.99 or
Yeah.
I do Royal Mail 2.99, or large letter will be 99p, or
Right.
whatever. I don't know. It's all already in there, depending on what the weight is and how much the value of the item is. So I've never kind of taken that next step to have
It'd be
it.
even quicker just to have it all
I know.
preset, because then you've got your preset standard postage, your express postage, international postage, which is especially useful for when you're doing video games and things where you don't have GSP.
Yeah.
Anne Isaac says, I haven't listed anything for 3 weeks. I've been away from home looking after a poorly family member, finding getting started again really difficult. Glad Becks put the challenge up. I think the challenge has been a bit of an eye-opener, because it just shows that it's kind of like that power of a bunch of people with the same goal, right? I mean, we all have that goal to list a certain number of items. I mean, I sometimes think if I just listed 3 items a day since I started reselling, I would probably have now listed more items than I currently have. Yeah. Even if I just set myself a target of 3, because there's been days where I've done like lots, but then there's been days where I've done nothing. So
it's true. I think it's the same with so many things in life. It's like keeping fit and eating right and stuff like that. It's little and often, isn't it? It's all the little things that add up. And if we could apply that to our listing, it's like, I'm just going to do 2 things before lunch.
I have to give a shout out to Scott Burroughs because of what you've just said. Because he's just said a quotation I think of when listing is, success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced daily. Jim Rohn always motivates me. I love Jim Rohn, and I think that echoes what you were saying there.
It is. It's just being organized enough to remember to do certain things regularly. And then once you've got that set up, you just got to keep walking. That's how I used to see it when I was like trying to set up a new business or something. It's like point yourself in the right direction and keep walking. That's how I used to see it. Otherwise, you get overwhelmed with trying to tackle the whole task, and you're looking up at a big mountain like, I've got to get up there. No, you just look at the floor and keep walking.
That's it. David McGregor says, I have over 700 listings now and not a single one done from scratch, all sell similars.
Wow. Sell similar is great. I really like that. It feels like it saves you a lot of thought process.
Well, if you found a completed listing that sold at a price you're happy with, then in a way, yeah, you're right. It makes no sense to do it all yourself. You can just use that.
To the point that mentally, just, I don't tend to keep the title exact, but sometimes I keep 90% of it. I might change a couple of words or switch a couple of bits around to suit how I would do it. But just mentally not having to think through writing that entire title seems like such a win. It's like, I'll just have that one because I like the title. Go.
Fair enough. Carolina said, had a phone conversation with a guy who outsources listing to the Philippines this morning. That was interesting. I've heard of that a lot. Have you? You must have seen that as well on YouTube.
I remember Dallas Moore was into that. He had systems in place where he was outsourcing and getting people in locally as well. So he'd have like a system where he'd write down some notes on a sheet and pass it on to someone. They took a picture and, working from his notes, listed it. Because he used to say, like, his time was so valuable, he just wanted to be outsourcing because that's what he did best. So he doesn't make videos anymore. I don't know what he's up to now. But Dallas Moore, yeah, look him up on YouTube if you haven't.
Right, let's have a look. In the chat, wow, God, we've just fallen behind. Yeah, bloody hell. It's just
Caroline was saying sell similar is amazing from the point of view of not having to fill in item specifics. Exactly. If you find a listing and they've done it really well, you can basically grab all of the work they put in with all the specifics, putting in the model number. We're talking about listing this sort of tech stuff, putting in the system, the model number, the blah, 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 blah. Quickly look at them, check that they're right, obviously, and then it's done for you. I love it.
Yeah. Caroline saying agrees you love my policies as well. And Fin Fashion Phoebe says policies makes life so much easier.
Okay, I'm doing that tonight.
You gotta have a look.
I'll do it.
You gotta have a look at policies. Trevor says yes, you can, Zaheer. Okay. Okay. Yeah, not being able to access our postage policies is annoying, says Darren. Yeah, so Darren has the same issue. Tam's Place says, "Hi, Nick and Zaheer, just got here. Welcome, Tam's Place." Right, let's just.
Steve Green's another sell similar convert. He says, "I only use sell similar."
Right, good. My tablet is a bit. Are people talking about the methods that they use to post? Oh, you're already further down.
Yeah, I think I'm at the bottom now.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know where you are.
Yeah, I'm just getting there. I'm just getting there. This is an entertaining portion of the TAT chat where we're both scrolling down the chat trying to find where we
post from a user called Shop Windows says, "I have bills to pay at certain points in the month and gear auction listings to finish when those bills are due. Pay them and move on. What's left is mine." Yeah, that's a good tactic if you can.
That is a good idea. Yeah, if you're happy to, if you know you're going to get good money for those items, or I suppose, but yeah, it's actually a good idea.
10K on the Bay says, "I'm not sure if you guys are using this, but if you change the category after sell similar and adding a new title, it will offer suggested item specifics, saves a tremendous amount of time."
Wow.
Don't know. I don't think I've done
it.
Huh. Have you pinched my light bulb? Somebody's asked.
You know what? Haven't. What I've done, I've not even installed a new one. I'm using my one of my Lightbox lights.
Okay.
But what I've done this time is I've made it really tall. So it's, as Alan Partridge would say, it's an extender. So
lovely.
So it's really tall. I've extended it as far as it'll go, and that's made the room.
We've switched roles tonight because I'm rather dark and dingy. You know what I can do? I can't move my light a little bit. Someone says that the TAT cave is getting darker. I can't do much.
Need to think of these things. Definitely. But yeah, I mean, it's nice to actually be in a bit of decent light. Sib K says, "We're right in the middle of rejigging our storage and office space to improve our listing performance, as having the photography area far from the computer was not sensible or suitable." Little things like that make such a big difference. I mean, you spent time organizing your office at home as well, didn't you, Nick, when you sorted your photo area out and package? You've got like a little packaging area as well. And
yeah, well, this was all made specifically for it, but it ends up getting covered in crap all the time. Yeah, this is meant to be my clear packaging desk. Doesn't stay that way too often. But yeah, having everything organized, it helps your productivity, but I just struggle with that on a daily basis, keeping organized.
I think it makes a huge difference. Definitely. I think it's these small things, like we mentioned earlier, like working at home is such a poison chalice, because it's little things like that that can make a huge difference to how productive you are. I mean, sometimes I think like I've got too much stuff that I like around me while I'm working, and I think that's not a good thing to have. I mean, so it's little things like, maybe if I moved the RC stuff out of sight, out of mind, from the office, because this is actually meant to be my work office. So having my coffee machine and my RC stuff in here is probably not wise, because sometimes I can spend an hour trying to get the perfect espresso shot to come out in, yeah, because it's silly, but things like that, if you have it in front of you, you're kind of just, you're testing yourself unnecessarily, aren't you? Like when you go to work at a workplace, they don't say, all right, here's your paperwork that you need to get through, here's Sky Plus with 3 tuners, and we've taken the liberty of recording your favorite shows, so they're ready there, and here's a games console with your favorite games. You can't use any of this stuff, you have to get on with your work. But we're not going to be here to look over you, so we're just asking you, we're just going to trust you to do the work,
on top of all of that,
and we won't get mad if you haven't done it.
But on top of all of that, the actual machine you use to access eBay has notifications coming up all the time.
Oh God,
messaged you on Facebook, there's a new post in this group. Someone's just commented on YouTube. if I actually read all my notifications now from Facebook, YouTube, our blog, all of that, I just wouldn't stop. It's just too much. Talking of which, I just had a notification saying that Caroline has uploaded a video, I think, saying how I stay organized.
Oh, fantastic.
On topic, Caroline.
Oh, I'm going to be watching that for sure. Definitely. Definitely. How I stay organized, that's something I could definitely do with learning.
Darren says he's picked up an Atari XEGS console. Missing its 3-pin plug, happened to have one. I don't nick plugs from things, Darren. That's a rumor. What is an XEGS console? I don't know what that one is. That one passed me by. Oh, ETYK85 says the MOT is due. Ours was due. Ours was so overdue. It was embarrassing. I completely forgot about it. So I did it yesterday, and it was over a month overdue.
Oh gosh,
don't do that, folks.
Lost where I was now. Yeah, Lee McCullen says, sorry, late to the party, but judging by the title, please do not list on the eBay platform for productivity. It simply kills it. What would you recommend listing on then?
Oh, I saw that. That's Lee, I was messaging Lee a while back about joining us for a chat sometime. Yeah. Drop me a message on Facebook if you're still up for that, because the communication just stopped. I don't know why, mate. Oh, just sold something.
Oh, nice.
Surprise, surprise, it's an aluminium drinking bottle.
Mike asks, Nick, that man is still ringing me about the wrong tape. You never gave him my number, bro.
He's your problem now.
Adam Butterworth says, I said it's an extender in an Alan Partridge voice too. I love how you know Alan Partridge there. Everyone knows Alan Partridge. He's just the best. Just so, I'm under a cow. It's so funny.
10K on the Bay was saying he has a helper with listings, and they did 269 last Friday, start to finish. 269 listings in a day.
Wow.
Just testing some new processes.
The thing is, you've made a good point though about the computer, because like I talked about all these layers of distraction I've got physically here, such as, you know, like my toys and coffee machine or whatever. But then you've mentioned that even once you've taken those out, you've then got the distraction on the computer as well. And 10K on the Bay says another thing that's helped him is having 0 items in his listing area outside the items I plan on listing. I list 100% on computer, and it got me thinking, actually, like I remember when I was at work, and they got me this is when I worked for EA Games, and I had a really wicked laptop. It could have played all kinds of games on it, but obviously they'd like fiddled with it so that I didn't have any privileges, so I couldn't install anything. So I could only install stuff with their permission. They, you know, you couldn't install programs yourself. It was some kind of like a active user account stuff, and it just made me think, like, I'm then sat here on this computer, which, like you said, gets notifications. Was my gaming computer before I started reselling. It's just. You've got to create the right environment for yourself.
Yeah, and it's about being kind of regimented, and I'm not very good at that. And also because I'm at a point where I'm trying to have that work-life balance, I've really stopped beating myself up about you know, being so productive, because you know, enjoying my life and enjoying being social and going out and spending time with family. That is as important to me these days as the rest of it, because for way too long I was so driven for work.
I don't think I've ever been driven.
So yeah, I struggle to not work hard. Oh, I don't struggle, but it's a constant battle. You know what I mean? To find the sweet spot.
Mike says 1 hour to get the perfect espresso, or 15 minutes to go to Starbucks. You could spend an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours at Starbucks. You're never going to get the perfect espresso from there. You know, it just doesn't happen. I don't get the perfect espresso at home. I mean, I'm just saying, once it's set, it's set. But you know, I'm just saying Starbucks won't give you.
Your super chat from Peter there.
Peter, yeah, Peter has super chatted £2 saying all our legends getting items listed due to life. Well, yeah, I mean, we all get stuff listed, even though life does get in the way. You have to get stuff listed. I mean, eventually we all do. I think it's just a case of motivating each other to keep it on as at the right priority level, I suppose. In reality, maybe fixing the pull start on an RC car should not have come before listing those items for sale on eBay. Just that kind of thing.
You could try using that like as a carrot on a stick. when I've done my 10, I'm allowed to
see, I thought that as well, but then I thought, but by the time I finished, the weather's really flaky. It was sunny at the time. It was perfect weather for me to go out and get a little run around on it just to test out, make sure the engine was tuned right.
I see.
It's all these other things.
I see Lisa's popped in, and Sue's Piles of Shame is in there. Hi guys.
Hi there. Poppy Marsh as well. Polashek says, I'm loving dark, windy, depressing evenings. More people sitting on PCs and mobiles buying our stuff. That's a good way of looking at it. Definitely. Summer may be over. But,
Okay.
Electronic Firing Squad says, I'm in the US. Yeah, watch 99% UK reseller channels. Never got into many US reseller channels. Craigslist Hunter and Margaret excluded. Oh, okay. Fair enough.
So I was going to ask you, with your haul, some of which we can see just behind your head, your epic haul that I'm sure everyone in the chat is aware of by now. Have you actually physically looked at it all, or is it too vast to even have a handle on what you've got?
I don't. I know what I've got now. I've looked at every box, so I know what I've got. But when it comes to the parts, there's no way I know what parts I've gotten because there's just too many of them. There's just no way. There's so many that so I know all the expensive stuff I know, and like I said, luckily for me, I got pro forma invoices from buying all this stuff, so I've actually got quantities and what I paid as well, all separate. The only thing is, when it comes down to the RC parts, it was just put through as like 3 pallets of RC parts, or something along those lines. So that's going to be like the one that I don't know exactly what I've got, but all the other stuff I know what it is. So and we had a little milestone. We've smashed through the 10% of the spend in terms of turnover, which is nice.
Wow. I bet you've listed what, 1%?
I've got less than that. Yeah, I mean, I think maybe that's from about, I don't know how many sales that was. It was about 12 sales, maybe 11 sales, 12 sales, something like that. So
12 items.
Yeah.
And you're at 10% of investment.
Yeah. Well, just in turnover. So obviously you've got to take away the PayPal, working capital, the eBay fees. That's not including postage either. I just put my sale price because I always charge postage on top. So postage is extra on those. But yeah, it's
looking good though. When you look at just those very raw numbers, that's going to be some
very good. Yeah, I think it was important to get these sales. I mean, there's been a couple of really nice situations where I've listed stuff and it's just gone straight away. And something I've noticed as well is some of the stuff I'm listing has established multi-quantity listings on eBay.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever done this, but I've gone, even though I've got multiple quantities, I'm listing them as single items as 10 days. And I've ended up selling stuff that, even though people have got really high ranked multi-quantity listings, because by the time I get a sale on a multi-quantity that I'd set up, it would be a bit of a struggle. I'd either have to drop my price to make myself competitive or whatever, or it could be a bit of a struggle, especially whilst they've got stock because their listing is established.
Yeah, so what do you think the logic behind people
what
finding yours is?
What Gosh, are you right?
Oh, good.
Well, I mean, let me just.
I'm gonna go and get.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you guys an example. I listed this. This is a what's it? An Italian farmhouse, and I listed this, and it sold like within a few hours as a 10-day listing. I think we paid like £2.60 including VAT, £2.80 something like that including VAT for this.
Sorry about that.
That's right. Yeah. So this was the item, Nick. I give you an example. I paid I think about £2.40 plus VAT, so it's like £2.60, £2.70, or £2.80 or whatever it is. I don't know. But I stuck it on just at a tenner because I thought let's just see, because I've got a few of these, and mine sold within a couple of hours. Like it could have even been within an hour. I'm not sure. It must have just been that it went live. It was high up in the rankings. Someone was looking for it and they bought it. Whereas if I'd stuck it on as a good till cancelled multi-quantity, God knows where it would have ended up in best match search.
So there's a school of thought then, really, where I mean, I do things on 10-day cycles to get that bonus.
Yeah,
relisted and stuff.
Yeah,
you could go to the lengths of doing 3-day, couldn't you?
What, a 3-day listing?
Yeah, to get, you know, it's new every 3 days and it's ending every 3 days.
That would be
with items you've got lots of. Why not?
Yeah.
You know, they're ending and starting all the time. They're getting picked up, and you just relist it when it goes.
The only reason I didn't, I was thinking of actually doing short listings, like 5-day or 7-day or 10-day listings, and putting the full quantity I had in the listing. So whilst it was active, it might get a few sales. But what worried me about that was every time I'd relist it, I think it would automatically get relisted at the original quantity. And I'm just worried that would be a recipe for disaster, because if I didn't keep track of...
It certainly does if you do sell similar. Because we have to be careful with these bottles.
Yeah.
When we sell similar.
So something I'd think about.
There's loads of chat coming in. I kind of lost where I was.
Right.
Oh, wow, it's nearly 7. Jeez, that's gone quick. I would have said it was about 6:30.
Sib K, I don't know what. Okay.
One Man Riot wants a sales update video soon. Would love to know what you sold from your haul.
I was planning on doing that. That was on the list of things to do.
That would be interesting. Actually.
Yeah, no, I was going to actually post, what 10 items or whatever we'd sold, because that little milestone. So yeah, I will do that.
I just want to say, if you don't mind, before I forget as well, on Sunday we're planning it's a kind of belated 2 million view celebration for our channel, because we're almost on, I don't know, I think about 100,000 past that now. But anyway, and we're going to do another Price is Right. I know you guys are up for it. I think Tom should be there, Margaret, I think Caroline. So yeah, that's going to replace our regular Sunday chat this weekend. So if you guys are about, come and join us, and you can guess some prices of eBay items along with us.
Definitely. I've got to say I'm quite good at that game. Put that out.
Darren's watching, I think we said last time that I'd try and get Darren involved, because he was really good and accurate with his guesses.
Yeah, see if he's the same when he's on the spot.
Actually part of the chat. So yeah, message me if I forget, Darren, and we'll get that sorted out. That'd be great to have you involved.
Peter Ray, I did mention the super chat comment, which was all legends, all our legends getting items listed due to life. Do appreciate it. And also I think Sib K has just put in the £2 super chat saying, could you tell at 10k on the bay to unblock me, please? I'm not sure what that's about.
I did see that. I'm not sure what was going on. I didn't mention.
Yeah. Lee McCullen says, I use third-party application to list items extremely quickly, have thousands of saved templates which require very little changing when I upload a similar item. Yes, Nick, will get back to you.
Oh, okay, cool.
Cool, yeah, it would be great.
Vinny's in there. He says he always relists rather than sell similar.
See, okay, I wanted to say something, right? This whole thing about relist and sell similar, I'm not sure sell similar does anything. that relist doesn't. I think it's more the fact that maybe you're on a shortened 10-day listing as opposed to like sell similar, because you got to imagine this is eBay's website, right? You're not changing your photos. Each of your photos has its own code, so when you upload it, they will know that that's the photo. And if you're selling similar, and it's got the same photos in the same order, everything's pretty much the same, or even if you thought you were cunning and you changed the title and tweaked it a little bit and then sold similar, the fact that you're using the same photos surely would flag somewhere to eBay's like web designer guys that this guy is just relisting his. Yeah.
I don't know. It's funny because we're all kind of groping in the dark with what actually works and what doesn't, aren't we? Let's be honest. And we watch a video, or we have some success doing something once and we think, I've cracked it, that works. But you're right. How do we know? I mean, surely eBay's algorithms are clever enough to realize that's exactly the same thing on again.
Yeah, because the photographs alone would have exactly the same coding or whatever when they're uploaded.
Yeah. And I did say someone in a video say similar to what you're saying, but who knows? But the other thing is, you get in a system that's working, you're ticking along, and it's like, this is working for now. But over the years, I've changed how I do things no end. I'm now doing 10-day cycles. I was good till cancelled on everything for a good couple of years.
Yeah.
And now I barely touch that unless I've got multi quantities. So yeah.
Peter Ray says, how often, Z and Nick, do you sort out the figures, go through receipts, etc.? The answer from my end is not often enough. What about you, Nick?
I am terrible at sorting out my paperwork. I tend to keep it all in a drawer and sort it out at the end of the year for tax.
Unfortunately, I'm the same because I do it online. I always say to myself, I've got till 31st of January. So the week before the 31st of January tends to be the week where I gather out all the receipts, start printing off. Thankfully, you can get so much information from PayPal and from eBay, and like even in terms of travel, if you haven't been noting your mileage down, if you've been attending boot fair X between X and Y that many times, Google Maps is great, isn't it? Because you can at least work out an accurate mileage, well, to an extent.
I don't keep on top of mileage at all.
I wish I did. There's a really cool app everyone talks about for mileage as well, but I know I'd install it and then not use it. So,
yeah.
So,
what is it I read? Oh, it's all whizzed past now. I don't know where I was.
Oh gosh, yeah. Chat has been. Yeah, Vinny said I always relist, rather than sell similar.
Yeah.
Adam says, Z, you missed Sibk super chat. No, I just mentioned it. It's just we're really super slow.
Oh, Sibk, was that another one then?
Well, another one? No.
Peter Ray.
No, it's Peter Ray and then Sibk who
could you
about unblocking.
Oh yeah.
I mentioned that. Yeah.
Darren just said something about me. He says, you've been warned about groping in the dark, Nick. No, I haven't. Yes.
I really list on a 30-day listing mainly because I have a lot of multi-listings. I found that removing my telephone number from my description has made my sales pick up a lot, says Vinny.
Moving your phone number from the description. I thought
wow.
you were supposed to have a phone number in the description anyway. They were down on that. And actually, somebody messaged me over on Facebook. I can't remember the person's name right now, but they had a 3-day listing ban to do with arranging a sale off eBay, but they didn't even arrange it. They'd put apparently just in the description, open to reasonable offers or something, but they hadn't actually added best offer on the listing. So eBay just hit them with a 3-day ban, which I thought was really harsh.
That was Soup, right?
No, somebody messaged me today and just said they thought it would make a good topic for a chat.
Because I swear something like that happened to Soup, where she didn't actually arrange anything, but because she had something innocuous such as like open to offers or something, or
basically exactly the same scenario as what Soup said. So
yeah, and it was a instant 3-day listing ban, which is seems
their
mega harsh.
Their punishments seem a bit skew whiff, because I was caught kind of banged to rights with the whole bike sale thing, and just got an email explaining the policies to me, whereas this guy and Soup, like whenever it was a few months ago, got a ban, an actual ban on eBay, just for having some wording in a listing. So it just, I don't know, the punishments aren't really matching the crime, I think.
Oh, we're getting some quite epic ways of listing. Electronic Firing Squad says, I have my staff lock me in an old magician's trunk with 10 items. I claw my way out a week later, smelling awful, but with all 10 items listed. Wow. That's a great way of doing it, definitely. All right. Karen Fisher says, showed my sis and some friends my practice YouTube vid. They said I should put it on, but I'm not sure. Karen, you should if you want to, definitely.
Yeah. If you want to feel better, go onto my channel and go right back to the beginning and watch my first video. If you're embarrassed or thinking about being embarrassed, watch my first video. The first few, they're just awful. The sound was bad, the visuals were bad, and I was just stuttery and nervous.
And actually, Peter Ray says, at Karen, I'm not brilliant at YouTube, but it gives me pleasure. I think, and Sue's Pile of Shame says, go for it, Karen, I'll sub. I think definitely, and Lisa Fenn has said, yeah, publish, would love to see it. If you've got something to share, just share it. It's yours, it's unique. No one else has done a video like you, because it's not you. That's the way you've got to look at it. Bloody hell.
Exactly. And all of the things, like having good quality, this, that, and the other, they're incidental. It's about yourself. It's about getting yourself out there, and all of the other stuff, editing or quality or lighting, can come later or never. It doesn't really matter. If people enjoy what you put out, all that matters. Karen
says, I say way too much. We all say things like, I'm always saying, let's have a look, or I'm always saying, or I'm always going like, do, or something. I'm looking through I don't know. We all have, yeah. If you look at your videos, you'll, if you look at yourself, you'll be like, oh God, I say that often, or, you know, like.
Yeah. I find it really hard to watch back some of my videos. I think,
I tend not to watch them, to be honest.
I like to watch back the chat sometimes, because then I can go back and see what we actually talked about. Because while you're doing them, you forget what the content was. But going back to saying fake Rachel is the current queen of the She was saying not long ago, wasn't she, that somebody actually counted how many times she said it in a video.
Doesn't stop her, and it shouldn't, because she puts out amazing content. So
I love fake videos. They're really, really good to watch.
Well, it's 7:07 now, Nick. So
it is. Yeah, well, up to you. You can wrap this up. We've got listing to do, mate.
Oh, we've got listing to do. I mean, gotta say a big thank you to everybody that has joined us this evening. Really appreciate it. The TAT chat will be back on Nick's channel next Tuesday. In the meantime, I think Nick said we have got a guest lined up on Thursday. So that will be epic. And what time is that on your channel on Thursday, Nick?
6, I believe, is the plan for Thursday. Will you be joining us for that one as well, Zaheer?
If I'm available, yeah, definitely. I'm sure I'll be available. I can.
You might be busy listing.
Yeah, I might be too busy. Yeah.
So yeah, guest on Thursday. I'll keep that a secret for now, and then you guys will be live on Friday, I'm guessing, with your usual 8 o'clock show.
Yep. And then you guys back on Sunday, you and Andrea.
Yeah. With
it's a busy week, isn't it? A week of.
But Sunday is going to be Price is Right, of course. So you guys.
Yes. Oh yes. I forgot.
We'll be in like 3 chats in a week on the same, live chats.
I've got to say, while we're on the subject of live chats, Carla and Caroline, their live chats have been epic, especially their auction, their auction video as well.
Today.
I didn't see this morning. No,
it was funny. It was good. I didn't watch it live. I wasn't about, but I caught it later. She's
I'll have to
very
catch up
easy.
with her.
I don't know if Carla's in the chat actually tonight.
No, I didn't see her name, but
oh, Lee
anyway.
says he's relaunching his channel soon. Okay, that's cool. I guess he's had a lot on. So yeah, but message me, Lee, if you're still about, and we'll sort out hooking up at some point.
Definitely. So thank you everybody for joining us. Really appreciate it. And the link for the TAT Chat Facebook group is down in the description. And we will see you guys in the next video.
Yep. Thanks for having me, Z. See you soon.
See you.